Welcome, brothers and sisters, heirs of our Father's promise. For in who our eldest relative, who is what? Our King, our salvation, Yahusha in him, Yahuwah, our Elohim, our Adonai. Right? Welcome again. Thank you for joining me onto another video. And of course, we're here today on the behalf of learning, of course, like always. We're here on the behalf of learning, of course, always. And I always like to talk about what's important, which is usually what? The importance of our common time in our era, right? And the similarities and the differences of back then and now. Now we're not going to get too much into that topic 100%, right? But surely I will have something for you guys. All right? But the first thing is what? We're going to learn about more so understanding our power and in the steps on how we take, direction on how the Holy Spirit basically just guides us. Because a lot of times when we walk in the right path, that's when we seem to fall. But it doesn't mean that your fall is the worst choice to take in life. Sometimes, right? Sometimes you have to fall so that you can get right back up. Right? Now, a lot of times we learn things in life that could help us potentially, might not help us. I thought I had some type of dirt in my nails. We don't do that. Right? But potentially, it's not always the case where, sometimes the bad is the bad. Sometimes the good is the good, but there's never really too much of a bad scenario that has never really brought people up. You have the difference between being stupid, which is usually the case, right? Meaning you've done something idiotic, or stuff just happened because it was just out of your control. Things happen in this world like that. All right. So I want you guys to uh, just get prepared. We don't need to grab the biblioteca today. I'm gonna make it very short enough for us to understand what we're gonna be getting into. So the topic is right. We were given authority in Christ through our Eli's power, meaning Father. Eli means Father, right? And we're gonna just go to the understand like the first couple of the thesis of like the introduction of chapter 10 in Saint Matthew's, okay, in this Chronicle of Saint Matthew's. We're gonna understand first the thesis of that chapter. And the reason why is because the first couple verses they talk about how Christ, right? I'll just read it, right? The first verse. I'll just read it. It says what? Calling forth his disciples, Christ gave them authority and power to cast out demons and many more unclean spirits, and to also heal those that were sick of all diseases. Now, this was around, I believe, the first or the second verse. If not, is one of those two. I know that for a fact. Okay. Now, why is that important? Why is that important? Why is that very important? Why do we need to know that? Now, we need to know that so that whenever a situation comes, always know you have the upper hand. Know the equation to the factors of that's happening, that's in the play of happening, the schematics, the imagine like like even though we talked about mathematics here, right? We didn't say too much, but just a little bit of enough, right? It's like one plus one. If you are one, the factor in between is one. The other person is one, right? The results is supposed to be an even number, right? What is the factor that's being used? What is the symbol that's being used? Is it a symbol to take away? Is it a symbol to divide? Is it a symbol to subtract, to multiply, right? Those are influences. So that symbol, those influences is what give you the sum, the results, right? Of what can give you two. Does that make sense? Of what can give you two. So we're looking at all of these scenarios, right? My apologies. We're looking at all these scenarios, right? And as we're looking at these scenarios, it's more so to inspire, to give us an understanding of how situations work, altercations work, not in the physical world, in the spiritual. Because when you interact with somebody, imagine a planet, right? If it was a circle, right? Imagine a planet coming next to a planet. Like for example, is the moon is still considered a planetary type of obstruction. So it has its own orbit. So imagine two planets coming next to each other. It can either one collide, or two stand next to each other, right? In balance and in harmony. So understanding the factor of what is being added or taken is what gives us the purpose of how we can understand how demons and devils and all of these things work, because they are an influence that can manipulate. They create delusions. Okay? Please keep that in mind. So we're gonna go on to the next one, and this one is gonna be I believe verse 16, right? And it says, disciples, know that you've been like sheeps among wolves, like the snakes. They are My apologies. Let me reread that one more time. Disciples, know that you'd be like sheeps among wolves, like the snakes they are. Be not like them, but know of their ways and remain like a dove. So this is Christ telling the public, right, and the disciples at the same time. That why? Because he's sending, and let me remind you this. He sent his disciples out and gave them authority to cast out demons and heal people. All 12, even Judas. But also he told them not to grab anything from people. Know this, the devils can only work if you accept it, meaning things are in exchange. They work they work in the spiritual realm through currency. Our Father doesn't, because how can somebody have created all and everything in the metaphysics, the physic, in all aspects of reality, that he is in need of currency? He's not. That's why he tells us to be charitable towards one of each other. Because at the end of the day, it wouldn't make sense. It's called contradiction. How can somebody that's omnipotent, that has created the function, the actual concept of what money could even be, meaning giving it the ordinance for it to be called money, the title itself is already established as a function. So it has a purpose due to its properties and how it can be made as such. How? It wouldn't make any sense. So when people don't understand that money has been used, so our Father was like, okay, you guys accepted that system, right? The banking system, the branch banking, all of these things are terms of these demonic scenarios. I'm gonna just put it in an easy way to understand. It's a demonic system. Like Christ said, what is of Caesar's returns back to Caesar. And who do you think Caesar got that information from? All of those things and these tactics. They didn't get it from Christ. Because even the Herodians, they were shocked to see that Christ was not rocking with what was on their money, their coin. There was an emblem, just like what we have a penny, we have Abraham Lincoln. No difference. So back then, it's still now. Like I made in my previous videos, but I'm gonna make it very short, right? And the topic for that is what? Know of your enemy, but don't do as them. Fire doesn't extinguish fire. So when you do, right, like what these people do, like the Pharisees, they control, they manipulate, they try to get people to engage, because if you can engage, that means that you've done it once, so you might possibly do it again, right? The possibility, that potential, that's what they use. That's the key factor. The same way we have hope in the faith of our Creator. They use that key factor of hope to also lessen it. So they are the anti-hope. They are the anti-hope. They use our faith, our actual faith. They will manipulate your hope by using our faith. Meaning Yahuwah can give you some type of ordinance of something to do, right? A task to do. They will send animals, insects, whatever, people to distract you. They might even make you fall asleep while you're doing your thing, just so that they could try to have the upper hand, so you feel like you don't do it. But when you know what you got to do, you still do it regardless. So when people try to fight you and you're out here preaching, whatever the case is, right? Why fight them? You know what you came to do. You didn't come to kill, destroy, or to steal. You came to renew, to remind, to heal, right? So let's go to the next. It says what? And that's not the next verse, actually. This is, I don't remember exactly which verse this is, but that is on my behalf. But I will still read it anyways. All right. And the topic of that would be, don't be egotistic or manipulating. And why? Because it says what? Know that disciples, and this is Christ talking, know that disciples are not yeah, this is Christ talking. Know that disciples are not masters, but servants unto their ruler. Meaning you don't make the rules. We're no masters. We're not masters of no one. We're all equals. It doesn't matter if somebody's 80 years old and you're 20, because that 20-year-old can be used for the glory of our Father more than the 80. Night, likely yes, because they have more energy. They can do more. Logically would make sense, but things happen. You just never know somebody's personal scenario and how Yahuwah will use that. I'm just saying, if he says he could turn stone into what? The seed of Abraham, of Sir Abraham. Why, what makes you think that? Why would you doubt his power? How can you doubt his power? It wouldn't even make sense to doubt him at all. So when we look at that, right? Why is that important? The reason that is important is because a lot of times we have this superiority type of, likeness to ourselves, when we don't really understand why. We don't understand how, where is it coming from, for what reason is it happening, right? A lot of times we have a superior, like, complex, and that can be very destructive. And it can be very destructive when you have a superiority complex. You can be somebody's parent. Just because you are a parent doesn't make you always right. Understand that being wrong is a way to also learn. Because you, like, remember this, kids that are kids, just because you are responsible for a kid, it doesn't mean that the kid doesn't see what you can't see. That's why they have to be taught. Because if they're not taught, and they're taught incorrectly because of the things that you learned that you did not learn properly, it's going to be considered indoctrination. So they're going to fall in your path. So if you fall, they're going to fall as well. Why not allow them to be uplifted, to fly in the sky, to be given the spirit of our creator, so that you can follow them as well? It's not about being better than somebody, it's about elevating. It's about receiving salvation. It's not about selfishness. Because if it was selfishness, people would have been killing more people out there, even though that's what they're doing, but it would have been 10 times worse. Luckily, there are people out here that are being used by the Holy Spirit, so things do not get worse. hmm Because order is of our Creator. It's in Elohim. That's why there's certain things that, like I told you guys, the devils, the demons, the fallens, they're conditioned to a certain level of things, meaning they can't even allow, they can't even create certain types of war unless they even tell you. They have to tell you, because if they don't, who's going to participate? They can't force nobody unless they have lucrative power, meaning something to give in exchange for value, to give dominance, to give some type of authority. So if they don't have authority, what makes you think that war is even a real thing if it's not something that has been planned by both parties, or a third party, or a fourth party? Who knows how many parties there are? But let's go though. Ah man, let's go. I don't know what verse this one is either, but we're gonna read it anyways because I got it down as noted. But I know this is in, chapter 10 of Saints of the Chronicles of Saints Matthews. So if you would like to go and read it yourself by grabbing your Bible, your biblioteca, be my honor, okay? Be my honor and do such as you should, okay? Not as you will. This is not Crowley around here. We don't do that around here. We don't. I asked my father before I even eat if I should do something, if I should eat something. So understand, yes, there are weird situations people don't get, but when you are in scenarios where you have to make sure that life is, accordingly, you don't want to mess up in life. You don't. You don't want to mess up in a way where you just cannot come back from. You don't want to lose your father's presence in your life. You don't. You really don't. But let's read it on. Now, the topic of this would be, why lose faith when you're in tribulations, when your hope should be greater? Meaning, you should rejoice when you're in tribulations. You shouldn't even be pissed off. You should look at it from the aspect of, I have to go through this. This is the potential of me dealing with what I signed up for. Some people, they want to do this black and yellow situation, this back to back situation where they want to be faithful, and then they're faithful until, conditionally, until they receive what they want, right? And then they're no longer faithful. That's most people nowadays. I was just literally in a situation where I was what's the word? I had made something to eat, right? And hold up. I had made something to eat, right? And I basically did not pray. I didn't give my thanks to my creator, and I didn't eat all the way. I felt on edge. I felt like something was missing. I like it wasn't hours or nothing. It was maybe like a minute or two. I felt unhinged, like something, or I felt weird, like something was missing. I shared my meal with my creator. It can be even a Rice Krispie treat. I'll say, Father, enjoy this with me. Enjoy the nourishment that you've allowed me to receive today. Just for even the little thing, even for water. Okay? So I want you guys to be prepared because we're going to read this. All right? Knowing this, be not afraid, for all in the shadows shall come to light. So know to always speak truth, for light penetrates darkness. And all you've learned, you must repeat that to others. You must repeat. My apologies. Let me repeat that one more time. So know to always speak truth, for light penetrates darkness. And all you learned, you must repeat that to others also. Do not fear death, because man cannot kill the soul, but only the body. More so, have fear for our Elohim, for he does both if he chooses. You're always protected and accounted for, and all the molecules of your existence is numbered. So fear not, for you're more valued than the earthly matters. So people can attack you 10,000 to your right, to your left, could come against you, but you should not fear. Because at the end of the day, somebody can run 10 swords through your body, and then you don't know what Yahuwah has in mind. He could choose to send his angel to remove those swords out of you, heal you, and then you back up like nothing happened. What happened to Herod, or people say Herod, right? What happened to Herod when he heard about Christ? He thought it was John, so he almost pissed himself. He let loose on himself. He let loose on himself of fear. He was scared because he was like, I thought it was John. John came, he thought it was John. He didn't know it was Christ. He didn't know the name. He just heard that there was a prophet out there running loose, healing people and casting demons out of their bodies. He didn't know that it was John. He didn't know that it was Christ, my apologies. He thought it was John immediately because why? Guilt. It was guilt. Guilt. And it's not that he wanted to do it. It was the Herodians, right? The Herodians, right? The Herodians, right? Philip's wife that Herod took. Around this era, she had a daughter. I don't even remember her name because I could care less. She had a daughter. Her daughter, mischievous as much as the mom. Two and two alike. One is old, one is not. Same coin, but the same process and same purpose. Heads or tails, doesn't matter. She seduced Herod just so that she can get a request from him. To what? To get John Baptist murdered. hmm The mom hated John Baptist so much because he told Herod that it was a terrible idea to not go for her. To not go for her because it was against the law. You should not marry somebody that's already married. Because how else do you think Philip died? If she was so easy to think about taking somebody's head, how do you think Philip died? Now, mind you, Philip is not as much, is not, was didn't have more influence than Herod or Herod. What do we call that? Sabotage. When you logically think about things, sabotage. So a lot of us, we're out here, we are in fear because we know what's right and we don't choose to do right. And we think we worry about what people think about us. Like, no, somebody call you crazy, they call you ugly, they call you stupid. Be that. Because even when Christ told his disciples to go out there, he said, don't take nothing from nobody. Everything that you're going to get is already given unto you, and it will be given unto you as well. And he wasn't just saying that because why? Because, oh, people are going to, people are going to think that they're doing works for, for money and stuff like that. So they might just end up taking money. But no, it's because of what? The spiritual exchange of things in life. When you accept, there are more than just physical things that comes with it all the time. Some people, they're spiritual. And those that are really spiritual, you're going to understand what I just said just now. If somebody give you a gift, you're accepting their gift. So whatever is in their gift, you don't know what comes with it. hmm Sometimes life is tricky. That's why today's episode, right, was very important for us to understand, because we were given authority and power, but we don't even know exactly how to use it. We don't even know what that means. We don't know our purpose. We rather spend $30,000 on a car that's gonna last for about 3 to 4, 5 years, 6, 7 years, 10 years. That looks really nice. That it would probably $30,000 is probably somebody's yearly how to wage salary. Just being realistic. So for a lot of people that are out there that are not understanding what I just said, please watch the rest of my videos. It will really help me, but not only me, but it will really help you. Because I'm not here to be telling you lies. I'm telling you, it will help me because I get to get more people to watch these videos. Because obviously, when I tell y'all stuff, I haven't told you guys about the wars. I told you guys about the contaminations. I'm gonna tell you guys about names. That's gonna come right up next as well. Abbreviations and all. We're not playing games on this platform. We are not playing no games. We're not playing no games. This platform, we are not playing no games. We're not here to put nobody down, but I'm the type of person where I'm not going to disrespect nobody on what they work hard to understand. But we know when the Holy Spirit tells you something, and when you get knowledge of something, the voice don't have to come in your mind to be like, yes, this is this right here. No, it's the recollection of understanding the type of influence that you're having. Sometimes people might not be able to explain certain things right. We all have our times when we don't do things properly, right? But it doesn't mean that everything that we say comes out of our mouth is truth. But there's certain things that have to be looked over at. Like, I can't lie to you and say that no, the words that we're learning, right, don't have a root meaning. If I told you that that was a lie, then I would be a liar. But because it's not a lie, that don't make me a liar. That's why I give you guys hints, so you can go and do research on the words that I give you, or maybe the similes or the parables in some, or I'm not gonna say parables, forgive me, some like of a parable or analogies that I give you, or somewhat of a metaphor. Same thing in a way, but it doesn't really matter too much to me because there is a slight difference, even though they're still the same thing. So a lot of people will go to church for everything that they think they need, when really the church is you. You are the body of Christ. You are the living bread. Because what happens to dough when it's in fire? It engulfs. It gets bigger. Mm-hmm. You are the living bread. You are the living bread. You are the living bread. You are the literal body of Christ. That's why when they were talking about the temple being rebuilt, the people that were listening to him talk, they didn't know that that he was talking about the actual physical body. They weren't looking at it from the physical aspect. We are the walking vessels. Even when they were talking, even when, my apologies. I don't know if this is in Luke. If it's in Luke, please correct me. Or a different chronicle, right? But when the Israelites, the Israels, when Israel, my apologies, is the likability of someone being from Israel. But no, when Israel, right, had basically made a temple for Yahuwah, Yahuwah response was, I cannot inhabit in the things that have been made by man, the hands of man. Why is that? Because it will destroy it. It's not organic. It doesn't have the stability to be able to contain it in such a way that our bodies are and our bodies can. Not even close. That's why I tell you, look up words. When we talk about spirit, I gave you the definition in a different video. Go watch it. I like you guys. I like making these things sound like egg hunts. I thought I heard something through that window. It might be something in the wall. Who knows? See, I'm talking to you guys and things are just popping up mysteriously. But yes, words, spirits. I like giving you guys these tasks to go and watch the previous videos because it's like an egg hunt. I want you guys to understand every word that comes out of my mouth because nothing that I'm going to be telling you guys is going to come from the place of lies or a bad or negative intention. I'm not trying to start conspiracies here. I don't want conspiracies here. I don't want lies, no lores, no folklores, whatever it is here. Everything that we're going to be talking here is straight truth. And if you don't think that I can back them up, trust and believe. There are things that even the Google would not get, would not tell people that you will have to go down and deep in the dirty parts of exactly research to gain. And if you guys want me to give you those type of information, it's not a problem for me. It's not a problem for me. It's not. So for the people that don't like what I do, I'm sorry, but I'm not though. If you want destruction, go and find somebody else that's an easy target. My father gave me a mission, so I'm gonna keep pushing. Not pushing P, because we're not doing that around here. If it's not standing for power, I don't care what it is. Because to me, that's gonna sound like peep peep. Like I don't know what else to say. I don't listen to none of this real vulgar stuff. I might listen to a little bit of some music here, you know, singing maybe. I don't really listen to gospel like that. Honestly, like I said, words have a meaning, especially all of these erratic gospel singers. I don't listen to all of them. I tried listening to one of them and my laptop. When I was listening to that one song, my laptop was like, no, sir. And it has never done that before. I'm not gonna, I don't know what's his name, but Franklin, I believe that's his name. But Mr. Franklin, my laptop does not coerce with you. Like the spirit of whatever that your influence of vocals have brought into this room that day. Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. Not even a little bit. Like I can't even, I just cannot. My laptop, and I have two laptops, three matter of fact, four matter of fact. I was playing every other song on that laptop, and that one song, "Do the Revolution," ooh ooh, fam, on my, I have listened to almost a lot of songs on that laptop, day and night. There was no issues. The moment I put that song, start staticky, and I can tell you, there's no demons around here, and if there are, they're not doing nothing to me. They might, the only thing they're here to do is try to distract me, try to attack me, try to stall me, but they ain't gonna stop with exactly what I'm doing here. And this is the reason why when people don't understand, when I tell them that I got eyes, my eyes is not closed. It for sure is not. So if you think that I got a W, of course I got a W. I don't flip around. I don't join and walk around. I don't join no associations and walk around trees with a sword with my eyes closed and all of this stuff. I don't do that. Man or woman, because at the end of the day, men are not the only ones to conjoin those things. I don't walk around with aprons in front of me, calling myself a G as if I'm a master or something. Oh, respectfully, I don't disrespect nobody's culture, but I do speak the truth. There's been a lot of people also that has fought a lot of stuff. I will tell you guys this before I leave this video. There's been a lot of people that has been fighting a war, right? A war that, you know, they have to create distractions so that we don't see the things that they're fighting, because it's not in the place, it's not in the level where, it's not in an even level place where we can even comprehend, let alone it's not going to be in a place right here where there's a lot of this, destructive weaponry. These things are going to be in the icelands, beyond the walls, in the waters, under the waters, in the air, in places that people cannot see. That's where they fight. Some people, they take very long distances to get some things that they want to get done. I've heard theories about the hollow earth. I'm not going to get too much into that. But if something is really hollow, right? How can obstruction, as far as how can the structure of something really stand? Doesn't mean that it's hollow. Just means that there's another layer with open doors. And they call them gates, caves, all of these things. Let's not leave you out of this, China. When you dig that hole down the earth and something escaped, let's not leave you out of this. Because we don't play around that. We don't play around. We do not play these lying stuff around here. I'm not one of the people that's going to go and disappear because of this and that. No, you don't got to like me. But I'm telling you that I'm going to be here speaking the truth. A lot of people think that I'm a project baby. And I'm not talking about the hood. I'm talking about projectile wise for advertisement and personal monopolizing, franchises and distraction. Yeah, I got talent. I can make music, dance, whatever the case is, right? Doesn't matter to me. Probably act a little bit. But for what reason would I be just standing on here and saying all this stuff? It's because I'm personally getting tired. I really am. I really am. I am getting tired. I'm getting tired of trying to fight people without fighting people. Meaning, I'm trying to keep distance in regards of respect towards others. For whatever your denomination is, whatever you believe, however you believe. So many people have kept their eyes on me for the wrong things, you know. And I definitely want you guys to know this. For a lot of people that are watching that happens to enjoy my content, war is upon us. Real war, not the type of war that you think is just normal. No, there are conditions, like I told you in my previous videos. If any of you would like to watch those videos, there are previous videos that tell you about these conditions and what their intention is, as far as the ones that are negatively aiming in this world, trying to stall as much as they can. Imagine it like an infinite to Tsukiyami. I don't know how to say that word properly. But it's a Naruto, right? Where what's his name? Not Gara, I say Gara. Madara. Madara put everybody to sleep. Madara put everybody to sleep. Straight put everybody to sleep. His name is Madara. Madara. Yeah, Madara. Naruto. And just put everybody to sleep. If they can have everybody going to sleep, that's the safest reinsurance for them to do what they want. Get anybody that they want. Pick anybody up whenever they want. But it takes only one person to remove somebody out of the game, to remove somebody out of the system. It might not even be me. It might be somebody else. And if it's somebody else, trust and believe, you're definitely not going to find that person. For a lot of people that got their high hopes on me, just know these conditions will be met, either you like it or not. It's already been foretold. Foretold, I said foretold. I mean, it's been foretold for years. Before your birth, before your reincarnation, and reincarnation doesn't have to be at birth or your new body, your birth. No, it can be also called possession. For a lot of people that are either new to my to this channel, I was saying my, but it's not mine, it's our channel, right? It can be, you can be a grown person and somebody reincarnating you. That means they took possession over your body. And what do you think happens to that? What do you think happened to that original spirit? There are such thing as NPC bodies, meaning people that are walking without purpose. There's such a thing. You're either a side character or you're a protagonist or you're an antagonist. And there are side characters for antagonists too. And they all have their moments. This too shall pass. hmm So, for a lot of you that are preparing for the wrong type of war, prepare your spirit, your integrity, your principles, your loyalty, because it's going to be tested. It's going to be very tested. And if you don't have any of those right now, I'm sorry to tell you, it's going to be very hard. There's a war coming, a great war.